Simple tools backed by big initiatives and thoughts are changing the way we do things, improving lives and sparking a welcoming sense of peace. But are they really so simple if, in the end, they are generating apps to make commuting safer or decreasing the crime stats? Big things are happening in our small Jamaica, and it's all being propelled and supported by some big minds, hoping for an even bigger future. Today we engage some apps these big-minded Jamaicans are creating, and more technology talks to keep you safe. Welcome to One More Wednesday with me, Theodore Henry, and your Jamaica Magazine team. Let's catch up with today's news, then we'll meet right back here.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect. If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 23, 2022. The COVID-19 containment measures that have been in effect for the almost 2 years of the pandemic are likely to come to an end in 3 weeks' time as government announces a further relaxation of the measures until then. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement during a virtual press briefing at Jamaica House yesterday evening.
We have 3 weeks of these measures left. And then at the end of 3 weeks, it is quite likely that we will bring the measures to an end.
He says the decision to delay the ending of the measures is, in large part, driven by the objective to resume face-to-face learning after the midterm break for all children, many of whom cannot get vaccinated as they're below age 12. In the meantime, the COVID containment measures have been significantly relaxed to allow for more economic and social activity. Effective this Friday, February 25, until March 17, the daily curfew is now from midnight to 5 a.m. Up to 100 persons can now attend funerals and burials, which are still only permitted between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. The maximum number of persons for events hosted by public sector entities, weddings, and annual general meetings of companies is also 100. The Prime Minister says the ease in restrictions reflects the recent rapid improvement in all COVID indicators.
Our daily case count has been decreasing steadily and is now back to the level we had in mid-December 2021, prior to the start of our fourth wave. Our average daily number of new hospital admissions has also been declining. Our COVID-related hospitalizations are now less than 50% of our COVID bed capacity.
He, however, hastened to caution that the pandemic is not over, and while government acknowledges the fatigue in the society, it's important to retain a balance between the continued public health risk and the need for greater economic and social engagement. As a result, Mr. Holness says the wearing of masks in public spaces is still required, adding that even when the Disaster Risk Management Act is removed, this is likely to remain a public health requirement until it is certain that we are out of the pandemic. Meanwhile, the government has relaxed the requirements for travel into Jamaica. Effective Tuesday, March 1, persons no longer need to obtain a travel authorization through the Jam COVID or Visit Jamaica platforms.
We are, at this time, maintaining the existing pre-test requirement for a negative PCR or antigen test conducted within 3 days prior to travel. We are aware that obtaining pre-tests is becoming more difficult and expensive in some jurisdictions. We are therefore reviewing whether or not we should maintain this requirement or modify it.
Travel-related quarantine requirements will also be eliminated on March 1.
I hasten to add that we are still strongly recommending and encouraging persons to limit their movements for at least 5 days after returning from travel. In particular, I urge persons who have traveled to distance themselves from those who are most at risk, most at risk, persons who are 60 years and over, persons with comorbidities.
The isolation requirement remains in effect for persons who test positive for COVID-19. Still on COVID-related matters, Cabinet will be reviewing a plan for the resumption of entertainment events at its next meeting on Monday. The plan, which is now being finalized, will be presented by the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Desmond McKenzie.
We're very concerned that the entertainment sector has been so badly hit, particularly the formal sector. So it's not just about reopening, it's also about how we offer support to the industry to return and to return safely.
The Prime Minister indicated that it was likely that the present protocols requiring persons to be vaccinated for attendance at large events would form part of the plan.
The position, based upon science and advice, public health science and advice, is that it is best to have only vaccinated persons gather en masse. I'm not of a mind or of a view that says that unvaccinated people should be discriminated against. But in the balance of trying to just make sure that we do not see a recurrence and a surge, there are just some things that we have to carefully do.
In other news, Cabinet has approved a 28.5% increase in the national minimum wage effective April 1 this year. Minister of Labour and Social Security Karl Samuda made the announcement during a digital press conference on Tuesday. The rate now moves from $7,000 to $9,000 per 40-hour work week. The minimum wage for industrial security guards will also increase from $9,700 to $10,500 per 40-hour work week. The accompanying allowances for security guards are also improving. Their laundry allowance is now $47.62 per hour. The firearm premium allowance has increased to $51.95 per hour, and dog handlers' premium allowance will be increased to $35.72 per hour. Life insurance with double indemnity protection and dismemberment coverage will also go up from $2.75 million to $2.97 million.
The necessary orders will give effect to these increases when it is tabled in the House, which will take place as soon as the House convenes from the recess that we are now on.
Minister Samuda says that while it was hoped the minimum wage could have been further increased, it depends largely on the pace at which the Jamaican economy recovers.
We thank God for the pace that it has recovered so far, and we have expectations that things will improve to enable this benefit to even be more meaningful in the near future.
In the meantime, the minister is urging employers to compensate their workers at levels higher than the minimum wage where they can.
This is the minimum wage, and there are many people who use this as a guide, but it does not constitute the wage that you are expected to pay. If you can do more and you help, as many do, those who work for you that fall into these categories, then by all means, certainly, effort should be made to do that.
And finally, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has finalized its 12-month wage agreement with public sector workers who have signed on to the 4% increase plus incentives. The Jamaica Police Federation is the latest group to accept the offer. Portfolio Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the overall process is now 98% complete, with administrative work accounting for the remaining 2%. He says the agreement reached with the different public sector groups is a testament to social cohesion.
To think that together through dialogue and discussion, we've been able to achieve agreement with bargaining groups and unions representing 98% of public sector workers with today's signing is a testimony to the social cohesion of the Jamaican society.
Chairman of the Police Federation, Corporal Rohan James, says that while the group is not satisfied, they're making a sacrifice in the interest of national security.
We are going to ensure that we hold true to form and the government accountable and to its word when the government posits that we will benefit significantly from the compensation review implementation, and the Federation will ensure that at the end of the day, the membership gets what they so desire in the interest of all parties and the people of Jamaica.
The 2021-22 Heads of Agreement was put forward by the Finance Ministry to allow government to carry out its compensation review process. The review is intended to overhaul the structure of salaries and other emoluments in the public service to make them more equitable. Implementation is slated for this year. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
There's a new app in town. Well, it's really accessible wherever you are. The Travel Pal app is an initiative coming out of the Transport Authority, and it's about to make the lives of commuters taking public passenger vehicles much easier. Here are the details.
There's this vast yet ever-growing network of connected things, causing meaningful disruption even in the transportation industry, and that's the Internet of Things. Beyond your ride-sharing services, scheduling and routing company vehicles, or the cashless bus and rail services, life-changing technological advancements are engineering safety features and interactive designs to improve the transportation experience. Life-changing technological innovations, such as the Travel Pal app, is one way through which the Transport Authority is revolutionizing the industry of movement.
Travel Pal application is an application used or developed, I should say, to empower the commuting public to know that they're entering into a licensed vehicle by the Transport Authority. That's it in a nutshell, to know if it's a licensed vehicle of the Transport Authority and also to make sure that they are safe in the vehicle. The need for the application, Travel Pal application, came 5 or 4 years ago when the management team of the Transport Authority tried somehow, some way to let the commuting public know that they're entering into a public passenger vehicle that is licensed, not just by looking at the red plate alone. Having a red plate on a vehicle doesn't mean that you're licensed. Yes, you have been licensed, but we want to know if you're currently licensed. So we try to find a way to let the commuting public know that they're actually entering into a currently licensed public passenger vehicle. And if not, what they can do with that as well.
The features that characterize this app are necessary for our social climate and quite revolutionary.
Features of the Travel Pal application are 1, the sharing of the application, 2, the verification of the vehicle that you're going in. Once you download the application, all that's needed is registration of your phone number. Once the registration of your phone number is done, you put in a license plate, verify the license plate information. For example, you will put in the license plate PP1234, and then you can verify the owner information, you can verify the driver information if it's available, you can verify the license information. You can then share that information with loved ones, your mother, father, whoever you want to share information with of the trip. And you can also, in the event that something happens, you can also push a panic button and share that trip information and location with loved ones as well. Those are the main features. Features that will be coming in the Travel Pal application in the coming weeks or months is that we're going to be interfacing with the JCF, Jamaica Constabulary Force 119 Center. So once you push that panic button on the application, it will no longer send information only to your loved ones, but it will also send a signal into the 119 centers of the JCF as well. More features that will be coming are, for example, point system, where if you share the app multiple times, you'll be able to get, whether it be prizes or if you want to have gifts given away, we also have that as well in the application. So there are 2 main features coming.
And as for further developments with our telecommunication providers?
The agreement between our telecommunication providers right now is that they are working to make the application free. They are working to have it data free. So for example, once you have a smartphone, you don't have any data or credit on your phone, you still be able to use the application regardless of where in the country you are. So that is work in progress. It is being worked on right now with both Flow and Digital.
And for your peace of mind, the $2.3 billion TravelPal app, which has been attracting hundreds of persons using public passenger vehicles, manages your data with high security standards.
The security of the information on the TravelPal application is done twofold. We have a data security advisor through the company that developed the application. The licensed database is stored at the government database center locally in-house, and the storage of your location details is not done at all unless you push that panic button into the 119 center, and then that's where the 119 center will then be able to locate your information. But once you end the trip, that's the end of the storage of the data.
The Ministry of Transport and Mining's TravelPal app is creating something for the safety and security of the commuting public. The app is free to download and free to use. Let's start our route to safety today.
I'm Nigel Clark. I'm the Minister of Finance and the Public Service. We want a public service that is fair, a public service that values people, and a public service that delivers high quality services. And in order to do so, we need to transform the public service. Jamaica competes in a global environment. The technology has transformed the way in which the world works. And for us to remain competitive, the public service needs to be in a position to deliver services effectively, efficiently, and in good time.
Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
We continue the technology talks with a project coming out of our security sector. Here's how the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, and other government entities are working to make the lives of Jamaicans safer through improved technology.
The Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, is helping to build safer communities through the Jamaica Crime Observatory Enhancement Project. Established in 2011, the Jamaica Crime Observatory is a web-based crime and violence data bank hosted by the Ministry of National Security.
The project is seeking to enhance the capacity of the Ministry of National Security, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and a number of other stakeholders in their response to data collection, data entry, data dissemination, and data analysis. This is a World Bank funded initiative. It is valued at 44 million Jamaican dollars.
The upgrade to the system falls under JSIF's Integrated Community Development Project, ICDP. The aim of the ICDP is to improve basic infrastructure and social services delivered to 18 targeted at-risk communities. JSIF seeks to use data from the Crime Observatory to inform the planning of social and technical interventions to be implemented in these communities. To ensure a concerted approach towards crime prevention and management, a number of government entities supply statistics to the Crime Observatory. These include the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Ministry of Health, the Registrar General's Department, and the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine.
We collect data from murder statistics to sexual offenses, suicide, traffic fatalities, hospital data, fatal shootings for various parishes in Jamaica.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is the primary source of data for the observatory. Under the project, the Statistics and Information Management Unit of the JCF has received handheld GPS devices to assist in increasing the accuracy of data collected.
From the perspective of the crime scene, the forensic crime scene analysts utilize the handheld devices provided by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund to map the exact location of each crime. The devices are also able to take photographs of the environment within which the crime occurs. With that information, the analysts are able to get a better context within which the crime occurs. And that has been very significant in our analysis process.
In addition, the gadget also assists us to be able to do analysis, temporal analysis of the time crime takes place. If you plot those information on a graph, you can see over a period of time, you can be able to determine trend, so you can do trend analysis.
As part of the JCIF funding, the unit also received laptops, desktop computers, firewall devices, servers, UPS devices, and software packages to improve the efficiency of processing the data collected.
It allows us to provide data to the Crime Observatory in a much faster turnaround time than the monthly cycle that we usually provide the data to the Crime Observatory.
Additionally, 2 data entry clerks have been employed by the unit to assist with the timely input of information into the system. The Ministry of National Security will also receive funding to engage the services of a crime analyst.
What the engagement of the crime analyst will do is that they will help with better forecasting and predicting utilizing data which is in the Crime Observatory.
The project, which started in 2017, will also fund the training of 7 Ministry of National Security staff and 8 persons from the Jamaica Constabulary Force in the areas of system maintenance, spatial analysis, and the use of ArcGIS software technology. Improvements to the Jamaica Crime Observatory are essential to various stakeholders in the formulation of policies and strategies to keep Jamaicans safe.
What the Crime Observatory is able to do is provide us with good, timely, accurate data for us able to craft our policies, and from crafting our policies we're able to then craft acceptable strategies to help with the crime and violence and citizen security.
With geographic information system, we can actually pinpoint the exact location of a crime. We can pinpoint the area, such as a shop or a bar, that is likely to be affected by a particular type of crime, which means that we can practice preventative policing. We can actually preempt what is likely to take place, put in strategy in order to prevent those occurrences.
Through the Jamaica Crime Observatory Enhancement Project, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund is enhancing the efficient collection and analysis of crime and violence statistics, building on the capacity of the government to better plan crime-fighting strategies.
Technology, of course, brings its ills too, such as cyber stalking, so being cautious is always important. We now recount the story of one individual who fell victim to cyber stalking.
I'm Tony Anlati and I am a victim of cybercrime. It started when my friends and I were in school and we all received a friend request from a weird name. We didn't know who it was at the time, but because we all got the friend request, we figured more likely it was a real person, so everybody accepted this person. Wrong move. So everything was fine in the initial stages, but maybe like a week or 2 after everybody accepted the friend request, some strange things started to happen. They would send us messages, sometimes individually, or they'd send the same message to everybody just to see what kind of different responses we would have. And it was very weird, to say the least. But then after that, it's like they upped the ante a little bit to start. Well, they started to tell us things that we were doing and places that we were going and people that we were with, and it was just like, okay, do I know you? Well, we became very paranoid. It's sensitive information that this person is telling you, it's places that you never really announce it to people that you're going here. So when you see somebody send you a message to say, oh, you're here with this person and this person, you start to look at your friends now like, it's you, I know you're playing with me. You just talk the truth and let's move on. But it wasn't any of them. When everything happened, at that time we had a lecturer who was a DSP. So we started to get advice from him, asking, what to do. And at that point, he told us that the best thing to do is stay as safe as possible. And so we started to leave school extra early. But we sort of just took matters into our own hands to try and find the person ourselves. We Googled how to trace IP addresses, and that's how we found out that the person who was doing this was actually a member of the school community, or they would be attached to the school Wi-Fi at the same time that we were at school. Eventually, it stopped because we made an uproar about it in spaces where we suspected the person was. So we began to speak very loudly about it. We let them know that we would be pressing charges and we'd go out with a bag of things. We didn't know who the person was, but we figured more likely that they heard us loud and clear. To this day, we don't have a definitive answer as to who the person was. Yes, we have our suspicions. But I can't really point at somebody to say, you are the person who was doing that. And that's a little scary to me. Looking back now, I think we all would have been much better off and a lot less paranoid if we kept ourselves to ourselves and only added people on social media that you know for a fact are your friends. If somebody doesn't have a profile picture, that's probably not somebody that you want to share your information with. To everybody else, I just say be very careful on social media because things and times have changed and there are some people out there with really malicious intent. So you just have to be very, very careful, be observant, be vigilant.
Because of its expansive nature and general ease of facilitating things, technology will always be a part of our lives. In today's Hear This, we're sharing some of what's been developing or is about to happen on the island's tech scene. Here goes. Number 1, the digitization of RGD records. The government is to spend $4 million on the digitization of vital records at the Registrar General's Department, the repository for all records of birth, marriage, death, and deed polls. Cabinet recently approved the award of the contract to Fujitsu Caribbean Jamaica Limited. Number 2, science, technology, and innovation STI policy to be tabled in Parliament. This policy will be tabled in the new parliamentary year to boost productivity and improve industry competitiveness. The goal is to support faster growth, create jobs, and improve health, education, security, and governance. Number 3, USF providing broadband support for Reggae Month. Reggae Month ends soon, and its success to date has been partly due to the Universal Service Fund's donation of $2,000 to provide broadband internet service for the virtual staging of events. It may take some time, but we're getting there together with the commitment and dedication of our government. And by there, I mean the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and of course, do business. While I always wish for more time to share the magnitude of information in our library and archives with you, all good things must come to an end. But all good things too do continue. So see you right here again tomorrow for more Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for watching today's show, and remember that you can see a refresher of yesterday's journey and others on our YouTube channel. Also, you may visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.